Right, this has been a while in the making. I did promise to do this, well, probably a couple of months ago now, but with various things it got delayed. But yeah, after I'd owned this vehicle about 3 years, I did a walk around with some of the cheap modifications on it, and I've owned it now for 6 and a bit years. So I thought I'd give you an update, see what stayed, see what got changed. So yeah, I'll try and remember what order I did it in on the last video, but I doubt I will. But yeah, we'll have a walk round, show you what worked, show you what got changed, but as always, everything was done on a budget. So let's see if it was worth it. Let's go. Right, from the outside, nothing too much has changed. If you do see the trailer in the background, try and ignore that. That one's for another video. Snorkel, still the original one that was on there. I put the original alloys back on. They're actually lighter than the steels that are on it before. And I've also changed the tyres. I wasn't very happy with the mud terrains that were on it, so I've gone for 215 75 15 maxi worm drive. These are an all-terrain tyre, and I'm a lot happier with these. They're a lot better on the road, and for the lanes that I do, I'm not noticing much difference on the lanes, so for me it's a win-win. Yeah, it's not much else I can say about them. I've done a few thousand miles. I've been on a year or two now, maybe even longer, maybe 3, because I changed the wheels not long after the other video. So yeah, they've done absolutely fine. While we're here, the hubs. These are the same hubs that I did the video on, and as you can see, well, I'll show you the other side when we get round there. That's not too bad, but this one still working perfectly well, but it started to look like this not long after a year, so not sure if it's just a crappy make or not, but we'll find out. Right, apologies about that, my phone went. But yeah, perfectly functional. They just look scabby. Still running the 2-inch blocks on original Jimny springs, and the Vitmods shocks, which were 2-inch longer to accommodate the travel. If you've seen any of the videos I've done when I'm out on the lanes, you'll see some of the articulation that we get is pretty good. So as long as this setup lasts, I'll not be changing it anytime soon. Up there, still the original light bar that was on. Absolutely fine, no reason to be changing that. Same CB that we're running. I'm getting a few more scratches, but that's just to be expected. Nothing different round the back. Still got the old lights on the back. Still working absolutely fine. On the rear end, again, nothing's really changed. Still looks fairly original. The only thing I've changed back here, and I did this the other day, is where the tow bar electrics go. They were down here, and when you're out on the lanes, if you're on some of the ruts, it can catch and it bends and it can pull on the wires. And I had to mess about with the electrics while I was doing the trailer. So what I've done, I've just relocated up there out the way, so they'll not get damaged, and it'll keep it out of the water a little bit more. But other than that, again, all fairly standard. The rear suspension, again running the 2-inch blocks and the Vitmods shock absorber. We have replaced the awning, still a homemade job. The other one was starting to look a bit tired, so we just made a new one. There is a video on there somewhere. If you're interested, I'll find the link if you drop me a note. Around the front, well, actually, while I'm thinking about it, the washer jets were starting to be a bit poor, so I changed them, just some eBay specials, and they were crap as well. So I've fitted some onto the wiper arms, so now the water goes on the windscreen as the wipers move, and we still have the little poo. Along the front, cut the bumper down just to give a bit more clearance on the front. Again, if you're interested in that, there is a video knocking about there. Put another little spotlight on the front. When I cut the bumper, we got rid of the fog lights, so the wiring for that I've just used for that spotlight. Quite small, but works absolutely spot on. And the last time I did this, we didn't have the winch. We had the winch plate, but not the winch. Just gone, again, cheap and cheerful. Parker brand, £4,500, which is about 2 tonne. Which, to be fair, unless you're stuck up to the axles, that's ample for this vehicle. It's out in all weathers, it's been dunked through Welsh water and the lanes and things. It's starting to sound a little bit noisy, but to be fair, it works, does what I need it to do, so I can't fault it. And it's on a remote, so you don't have to wire it in to use it. Right, let's get the bonnet popped. Right, you'll all be familiar with the M13A engine. Again, nothing much changed. It's had a battery replacement. We're still running the original dual battery setup that I did. Obviously we had to relocate the washer jets bottle to fit that in. The non-ABS Jimneys do get trays and things like that advertised for them. This one, with it being the ABS one, kind of had to do it myself and work it out, because obviously it's got ABS and aircon. But yeah, under the bonnet, no difference, still running the K&N filter, and apart from changing the coil packs, to be fair, it's been a sturdy little motor, so not much else I can tell you with that. Let's move on. Right, in the back here, I'm out camping at the minute, so I have got the fridge with me at the moment. Still got a little table that I made quite a few years ago now. Just drops down, a few bits of scrap wood to make that. Nothing fancy, but works a treat. Bottle opener, standard equipment for when you're out camping. Tie down hooks, just for as and when. Fire extinguisher. Tie down hooks on this side as well. I use that one to keep the fridge in. That is plugged in just down there, That's connected to the leisure battery, so that's on permanently. So when the car's off, I can keep the fridge running and the phone's topped up. I did think about taking the seats out, but on the odd occasion where I do need it, it's just easier just to leave them flat. In that bag there, that's just the poles that I use for the awning. And we can keep a check on the leisure battery. So can we see it? Not sure. That's a handy little thing. And I made a little box that keeps a few straps, tools, pump, general bits and pieces in, and it just keeps it kind of level with the back seats. Just makes carrying things a bit easier. Still running the old net, just hats, scarves, gloves, bin bags, that kind of stuff. Let's have a look around the front. Nearly forgot to mention, as it's not here, I didn't even think about it. There's a couple of holes left. I did have a 240 supply connected to the car, just a 300 watt, which was fine, but it was an old, really old, modified sine wave inverter. So I've now got rid of that. I upgraded the one for the car to a 600 pure sine, which is a lot better, but I keep that loose and just plug it in as and when I need it. It's not very often I use it, so I kind of figured there was no point in having it connected to the car. Yeah, I've still got the bit of underlay stuck to the door. That just saves me bashing my knee on the window switches all the time. When I finally get round to it, I will take that off and relocate the switches somewhere, probably near the handbrake, just because they're in the way. The biggest change in here is the seats, and although bought second hand, they were still 300 quid, but they were a lot better when you're doing the angles and things like that out on the lanes. So well worth the money, I think, for that one. A lot of people do the Ignis seats from the Sport, but these came up on one of the forums, so I went for that. And you may notice we did the conversion to the manual. Still got the switches, haven't decided what to do with them yet. I'll probably use them, take them out, use them for something else at some point. But no, we've gone for the older gearbox and the manual transfer, just to keep it more reliable. CB mounted underneath, and some 12 volts and USBs. That there was a blank. That's now the rear lights. Head unit, again, swapped that out. I did have a Kenwood one in, but I just wasn't particularly happy with it. So, gone for an Android one. That's got the built-in sat-nav, just to save me having one stuck to the windscreen. But yeah, absolutely fine. Again, bought second hand, 100 quid. Can't really fault it. And phone holder, just a cheap one off Amazon. Fits into the vents. I have put some bits of rubber in there because it didn't fit that snugly and it rattled around a lot, but that now works absolutely fine. That is the original switch for the fog lights. That now does the small bar on the bumper, and that is for the light up on the roof. For those that may or may not have picked up on it on the last time, we did swap. Can we see? Yeah, put the indicators on that side. Because this is just a toy for me really, for camping and laning, it was a bit of a pain trying to remember the indicators were on the other side, having come out the other cars. So now that is all sorted. Other than that, there's not much else to go with the car. I've still got the wires running up here. I know that's bad. I will get round to sorting that out at some point. It's on my to-do list. But other than that, shut that. I think that's pretty much it. As you see it now, it won't really change. It may or may not get a rear diff lock at some point. I do quite fancy one, but I can't really remember how many times I've thought, oh, I need one of those, maybe once, twice, but I just fancy one, so you never know, I may look at getting that sorted. But yeah, other than that, what you see is pretty much the final product. Does exactly what I need it to do. It's still absolute garbage out on the road. If you're running one of these as a daily, or thinking of getting one of these as a daily, I can just say no. There are much better cars. Unless you're using it to go out on the lanes, go and buy a proper car. But if you're wanting to use it for this kind of stuff, then yeah, they're absolutely fine. The access into here is a narrow little bridge. If I'd have got anything much bigger than the Jimny, I wouldn't have been able to get in here. So they do have the perks, but no, it's I still think they're crap. I'm still thinking about selling it every few months, but I've been thinking of selling it for the last few years, so chances are it's just going to stay where it is. Right, so there you have it. It's took a long time to get round to doing this, and I do apologise for those that, well, to both of you that are actually interested. If you think I've missed anything, or you've seen something on the car that I've overlooked, let me know and I'll get you some more details. But other than that, yeah, let's carry on enjoying it. See you on the next video.